Hi, this is Rabbi Zach Pleasant, and you are listening to You've Always Belonged Here, Temple Israel of Westport's new podcast. Each week, we will share moments from the Bima given by our clergy team or conversations with members of our staff or community.
One of the most difficult conversations in the entire course of my rabbinate took place just a few months after October 7th. I was sitting with interfaith leaders, and we were together trying to rebuild relationships that had been very severely damaged following October 7th. And I thought we were making progress until the person I was sitting directly next to went on and on about how much he loved and respected Jews, and then concluded his statement with, "But Zionism is evil." I was so shocked that I did not know how to respond in the moment. I did not have the words. I later had the opportunity to tell him that not only was Israel and Zionism a source of pride and strength for me, but that the very idea that Judaism and Zionism could be separated within me as a Jew was a gross misunderstanding of who I am. Now, a couple years later, I understand that while there are many for whom Zionism and Israel are a source of great pride and strength, there is also a growing segment of the Jewish community for whom Israel and Zionism have become a source of deep moral concern. So much so that they are considering severing the link, abandoning Israel and Zionism as a part of their Jewish life. So tonight I offer this: a letter to Jews who are considering abandoning Zionism and Israel. Dear friends, many would tell you simply that you're wrong, that you have the wrong facts, that you're exposing yourself to the wrong media sources, that you're brainwashed by the wrong political or philosophical leaders. I want to say that I know you and I understand you. I know you're well-educated, engaged Jews, that you care a great deal about being Jewish. And I understand that you are not anti-Zionist. Anti-Zionists delegitimize the state of Israel and are of the opinion that the world would be a better place if the state of Israel did not exist. You do not fit that description. You are what Rabbi Daniel Hartman calls a troubled Zionist. And Rabbi Hartman says that proudly because he refers to himself in that way. I understand that you desperately want to love Israel and that you feel a connection with Jews who live there. I also understand that the Jewish principles of pursuing peace, caring for the stranger, and loving one's neighbor are among your highest values. And I understand that at the core of your frustration with Israel are the many ways in which you see the Jewish state as falling short of embodying the values of the Jewish people. I understand that influential sources, such as the New York Times, seem to be on a mission to decouple Zionism from Judaism and to assure its readers that you can be Jewish without being Zionist. I could not disagree more. I want to make a case, a very strong case, for not abandoning Israel, for remaining engaged with Zionism. First, I urge you not to abandon Israel because Israel has half the Jewish population of the world. There are only 15 million of us, and about 7 million live here in the United States, and another 7 million live in Israel. More than 90% of the world's Jews live either here or there. So if one were to turn their back on Israel, you're turning your back on half of our family. And I would suggest that you can't be Jewish without a connection to Israel, because Israel is the great Jewish project of our time. It's a project of rebirth after the Holocaust, testing whether a people nearly annihilated can truly live again. It's a project of great creativity, where we get to see what a mass of brilliant, committed, fearless Jews, concentrated all in one place, can create together. And it's a project of power, where we Jews, who have been history's most oppressed and powerless people, can take our destiny into our own hands and use power responsibly among the other nations of the earth. We know that the destiny of all Jews is intertwined with one another. Certainly, the outside world sees us as one entity and holds us collectively responsible, as demonstrated in the repeated attacks on Jews in Australia, Canada, the UK, and yes, even here in the States. We are bound together as one. Second, I urge you not to abandon Zionism because of some sense of injustice. There are some who are tempted to abandon Israel because they believe that injustice lies at Israel's core. You may see injustice present in the foundation of the state or in the form of the current government. To you, I would ask, what nation's founding is free from injustice? Certainly not the United States, or Canada, or Mexico. But that does not prompt us to abandon our citizenship here. The impulse to abandon Israel or Zionism seems to me to be a symptom of the larger disease of our society, which is that when we encounter something that we dislike or find uncomfortable, our reaction is to shun it and to distance ourselves from it. We cancel people, or we cut them out of our lives. We don't talk to relatives and friends who are of differing political opinions from ours. But that is not the Jewish response. The Jewish response is not to distance or to shun, but rather to discuss, to argue, and to engage. And third, I urge you not to abandon Israel and Zionism because I guarantee that if you do, you will cede the field of conversation to those whom you most dislike. You'll abandon it to politicians like Ben Gvir and Smotrich, to the hoodlums practicing vigilante violence in the West Bank, to the ultra-Orthodox intent on defining a state religion that you and I would barely recognize as Judaism. And here in America, if you abandon Zionism, let me tell you who will be glad to seize it and take hold of that term. The illiberal, progressive, far left, for whom Zionism is shorthand for the great evils of colonialism and white supremacy, and the far right, which is rife with anti-Semitism, who see the entire world as some big Zionist plot. I will not allow Zionism and Israel to be defined by those people. So if you, like me, have a vision for what an independent Jewish nation can be, that it should not only be the state of the Jewish people, but a nation that operates on Jewish principles, the only way to get there is to remain in the conversation and make sure your voice is heard. There are so many ways that you can lean in rather than pull away. There are so many ways right here at Temple Israel. You can engage by attending one of the many evening events we're offering this month, beginning with Iran and Middle East expert Dr. Ken Pollack this Tuesday at 7 p.m., then a fascinating event with leading evangelical Zionist pastors. Yes, that's a thing. Come find out about it on Monday, May 11th, and followed by an event focusing on pluralism and democracy in Israel with the New Israel Fund on May 18th. You can participate in the course that I'm offering entitled The Spectrum of Zionism. It begins on Tuesday, May 12th, and I'll be offering both midday and evening sessions. It will be as much me teaching as creating a conversation within our congregation, and I urge you to participate. As Rabbi David Lyon, who is president of the Central Conference of American Rabbis, points out, we are not wed to only one definition of Zionism, and frankly, there never was only one definition. In a generation where we've all learned to accommodate non-binary people, why judge Israel in binary terms? Our outlook is that to live in a world without Israel is simply unfathomable. So we will gather to learn, to debate, to share, to think, and to grow. And finally, as many of you who are part of our congregation saw was announced just last night, you can travel to Israel with us next April. You have questions, thoughts, concerns? Great. Come with us, your Temple Israel. See and experience and ask for yourself. And do it all with your TI community. Scholar and teacher Yehuda Kurtzer said, "We Jews hold ourselves accountable to be a people of greatness." And I could not agree more. So let us all participate as one community in that vision. Let us help Zionism and Israel achieve the greatest ideals of our people. Let us engage rather than disengage. Let us talk rather than remain silent. And let us do all of this together. Sincerely, Rabbi Michael S. Friedman.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of You've Always Belonged Here. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. To learn more about Temple Israel, visit our website, tiwestport.org, follow us on Instagram at Temple Israel Westport, or like us on Facebook, Temple Israel of Westport, Connecticut.